Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wisdom from the Field. I have the honor of sitting today with my dear uncle, Rabbi Moshe Krasnanski from Chabad of TMR, Chabad of the town, Montreal. Welcome, Moishe.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and we've seen your previous videos, which are very impactful and beautiful, and we're happy to be here and share whatever we can that may be of value.
Thank you. Thank you, Moishe. Um, so, we were talking earlier, you have a unique journey in the sense of originally you were in business and then built your shlichus, went into shlichus. Can you share with us a little bit about, how that happened, the story, the journey?
Sure. So actually, as a bochur, I was very involved in shlichus. Besides being a shliach like everyone else and spending 2 years in South Africa as a shliach of the Rebbe, as a bochur. But when I came back from shlichus, I was still young. I was involved in some very key places to get Chabad started, and really was Reisha Virube in the Rebbe's work, the best we can do. I started Chabad in Las Vegas. Rabbi Shia Harlig has built an empire there. We were very instrumental in starting Chabad in Salt Lake City and other things. I was very involved, very close to Rabbi Shalom Bar Lipsker. We started with him a program that we called the Mini Yeshiva, which really, Project Talmud and other things, was a little bit of an offshoot of that idea. And today JLI is the leader in adult education, but really the seed of this whole taking adult education to another level, not just a sheer, but transformation, was something we're very involved with organizing with Rabbi Lipsker. We ran many yeshivas for him.
That was a
Aleph
part of
Institute.
Aleph? The yeshiva was a
It was
part
part
of
of his
Aleph?
shul. It was part of his shul of Bal Harbor, which was just building up at that time. Was involved in Aleph Institute, actually an educational part as well. We were making courses for prisoners. So there were a lot of things that we were involved in. We actually did, my friend and I, we called it Lights Across America. We're the first one that organizes. We send then 50 or 60 bochurim throughout America to go to visit every prison that were able to get into Hanukkah. I think it was 1991 maybe. So this is where I was. When I got married, I didn't go into shlichus. I went into business. I went into business. And the honest truth, I went into businesses because I hated fundraising. And I never wanted to be a fundraiser. And
the lengths one will go.
Yeah, so, I thought, let me go make money and I'll help shluchim. And Baruch Hashem, it was very good. It was a good ride in business. Even while I was in business, I was doing shiurim. I was doing a lot of different types of things, but not real shlichus. At some point, and actually it was interesting, at a point when it was at a very good time in business. So I sat down with myself, ashtikol cheshbon hanefesh, and I said, the pursuit of business is very nice, but the calling that the Rebbe planted in us was always there, and I felt that I have to do more. So I started to do shlichus. I worked with another shliach here in Montreal, Rabbi Mendel Raskin, who had the Chabad of Kot St. Luke, and I opened up an English-speaking minyan. He had French, while I was still fully in business, and I did it a few years, and then I started to open up in my own area, still juggling business and shlichus together. But
what point? How many years are you married at this point? How many years are you in business already?
I was already married. I already had 5 kids when I went into shlichus. I already had 5 kids, and though our shlichus was never far from where we grew up, Lubavitch area in Montreal, but once I moved into my makom shlichus, it was like a new world for them. no more kids from kids around. It was walkable, but it changed a lot for them. And so I made a sort of in my head, I made a tanai that if the shlichus gets very busy, that it needs more of me, then I will leave my business and go to shlichus full time. And so that
So
ever
how long
made it
did that?
that
How long?
ever made it very busy. And
Uh,
we, at some point we left business. I was doing shlichus and business together. I would say about 5 years. I was doing shlichus and business together. But then I left fully and threw myself into shlichus, and with the thought that there are enough people out there in the world are making money, but there are not enough people doing what the Rebbe wants to bring Mashiach. So we throw ourselves in with 5 kids, with already older, etc., to start shlichus. So that's sort of how it happened, and Baruch Hashem, we never looked back. And this is the world
so
we're
how
in.
many years ago is that? How many years ago from now?
So this was a little over 20 years ago. This was about 22 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, beautiful. Were there any challenges in that transition? Having a family and or even just coming from a business world into a whole different world.
Baruch Hashem, we had some support around, and and we did well in business. That I built something that I could rely on a little bit as I started the transition. But it was really throwing ourselves in to the unknown when we already had a family and a chrayas. There obviously were challenges. The biggest challenges were in the family, getting the family from living in one way, not just at one standard or one level, but living in a way where you have parents that are always available, plenty of time, personal time, to a world where all of a sudden parents are much less available. Shabbos and Yom Tif, it's all about the Chabad house and et cetera, et cetera. And obviously we include the kids and everything, but it was a big change. That was the hardest transition of really within the family. Everything else was normal. You're starting from scratch. You're building up. Takes time to get yourself known and to connect with people and to get people supporting. But the family was the biggest challenge in that transition.
Did you, how did you help them through that? Or like, was there any way that you're able to meet that challenge for them?
It's a good question because we didn't have any playbook. We didn't have any real sort of rules laid out. We try to give as parents do as much attention to our children and include them in everything. So the good thing was we came into service, we already had a few kids, and people love kids. When people came to our house, they already saw a family, they already saw kids, and they really connected. The kids became a very important, and we emphasized it whenever people came to our home. The kids were made center to feel special. So we hope that will make them feel, good about it. And though there's certain things that are being given up, they would feel positive. And Baruch Hashem, I mean, our kids turned out well, and we believe that that though it was a challenge, it worked out pretty good.
Right. I'll have to interview one of them to hear their side. No,
You have to do
I'm joking.
interviews b'chlal of children of shluchim, but that's a world in itself. People see what's going on, and they have very different reactions to how they see
Right.
either when their parents struggle on shlichus, or when they do well, or their house is always an open door or not. It's an interesting episode on its own.
Right. 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 So fast forwarding a little bit, 20 years, I guess. Like, what does Chabad of the town look like today?
So Chabad of the town, Baruch Hashem, we have today we have a whole team. We have 2 couples working for us, Rabbi Zalmi and Esther Rader, who actually I brought out very early. I did something that most shluchim will not do. This is while I was still in business, and so then Shluchei Torah opened up. Rabbi Kotlarski also with the roars in. They want to send out Shluchei Torah. We were one of the Shluchei Torah. Today we're one of the last ones that still have the shliach that went out for Shluchei Torah. There's maybe 2 or 3 others. So I invested in bringing out a shliach very early, knowing that I was busy with other things as well. As I brought out a shliach here at the time, so bringing out another shliach also helped be able to reach, to have more hands to do more things. And a few years ago, after the whole war in Russia and Ukraine broke out, and one of the shluchim ended up in Montreal temporarily, so we grabbed him, and so now we have 2 couples that work for us in our Chabad. We work a part of our Chabad.
What is the new couple's role?
So that's Rabbi Shneur and Chaya Lapkowski. So Rabbi Lapkowski is French-speaking. In Montreal, there's a lot of French-speaking people, and especially now a lot of migration from France. So he sort of runs my French division. People who want to learn French, and with a lot of different things that we do with French. So we're able to offer people a much more optimistic kesher. We had a kesher with them already, but not much optimistic kesher. Give them shirei Torah and that personal relationship in the language that and culture that they're used to. So that's what they hear. So that's their main kav, and then we have another shliach who works with us, administrator in our office, Rabbi Peretz Machkin. And then we have some other staff, non-shluchim, but at that level of commitment and ability. We have one of our Bali Tshuva who's become a program director here.
Wow.
We have a daycare that we have with the whole team. So today, Chabad TMR is has an incredible team that's busy doing many things. We are what the typical Chabad house were. We're many things. We don't focus on one area. Like today has become very much the fashion where you're a you're a one idea shop, but we do everything.
Graphics.
We have from little kids to seniors. You know, today from our 2 greatest programs that we're offering today, we have a senior program. We have over 125 people come every week to our Chabadas, and there's a whole program where brings them back to life and makes them feel the mention again the way they ever wanted Skanim to feel and Skanis. And our team program is we have incredible leadership and team program that's doing very well. So we try to be Yiddishkeit for people, Gashmis and Ruchnis, whatever it can be. There's davenings, there's shiurim, there are programs, there are classes for all ages, family programs. So we do try to do as much as we can to be there for everyone at whatever age it is, whether bar and bas mitzvah, whether it's when they're younger, whether when they're teens, whether when they're young adults, their families, they're older. So we try to have something that can, talk to everybody, give everyone an opportunity to be involved.
Yeah, beautiful. So let me ask you. You did mention earlier about like this project of Shlichut Torah, and there were a few that succeeded. Let's say, yeah. What would you say is the secret ingredient or ingredients to having a successful shliach come in and work within your maisid?
It's a very good question, because I don't know if there's a standard answer. And I always believed, and this is thanks to Rabbi Lipsky Olav Shalom. When I was a bochur, it was really my first shliach mentor, who we saw how limud Torah is a shlichus. Sometimes you also learn limud Torah is a shlichus. You can connect the people and get them into your world through limud Torah. That's why you said the Rebbe said you learn my Torah is a kusher tzamir. there's a certain such thing happens in Limud Torah that beyond other things. So I was always a big believer in that, and even till today, I myself personally have many shiurim a week with individuals, some public. And even though I'm busy and it's not easy to have shiurim, I believe it's very, very important. And most of my biggest balabatim, it's really connected to Limud Torah. And therefore, I believe very early on, I want to create as many opportunities of Limud Torah as I can. So when Merkez came out with the opportunity to have a shliach Torah, where they were going to subsidize to a certain extent the first 3 years, I jumped on and I said, wow, if I can have more Limud Torah happening, a big kav of that shlichus is still learning individually, classes, JLI, and other things that we have going on. But today we have a Chabad house. We have minyan 3 times a day. Farbrengens have to be organized, and the regular shiurim going on. So there's a lot of regular standard things going on, and we do a lot of programs where Shabbatons and other types of programs where we always need people to work in it and get people, etc. That's how the shlichus evolved. Well, even though we came out of shliach Torah, it's not like just learning Torah. There's Chabad has many things going on, and we brought them in to be part of the Chabad with the emphasis on Torah, and that's something that still continues till today. In his shlichus of today at Chabad TMR.
But what would you say, helps the dynamic work out? Because obviously it doesn't always. But what, is there anything about the way you relate to the other shluchim or any sort of conflict resolution or something that helps you, make it work?
So it's a hard question to answer because it's an ongoing thing. It's shliach is an ongoing thing where we always want to make the person feel a level of ownership of what they're doing because they're working within our Chabadas. We're all here together. Same time being part of the team and the direction of the general Chabad house we're going and what we're emphasizing at different times. So I'm learning every day, to try to make it the best possible. It's not an easy thing because on one hand we're all shluchim, and then they were all here, and the only reason we're in shlichus, whether you are the head shliach or whether you are working for the head shliach, then they will shluchim and the Rebbe directly. We're only here because we're dedicated to what the Rebbe wants, and we have that direct connection. So it's a juggling act that we have to try to keep to make sure that that those who are here for us are happy, they feel good, and also they feel a taf shaloi, they feel the importance of that sense. And I always want to hear from people who are who feel they've done it very successfully because we always learn. These are things that evolve to be able to allow it to work well and to thrive.
Mm. What I'm hearing in your sharing is that there's a nice dose of humility that gives way for a thriving relationship.
There's no question. There's no question. Everyone has to shine in their strengths and in their abilities, and it's important for. So when I see people in my Chabad house who love the shluchim who are here, part of our team, and they come to me and they praise them. To me, that's the biggest nachas because that's a success. When I tell you before, it was a business before. In business, you learn a lot of things, and a lot of those things I learned while doing business is something that I brought to shlichus as well. And it's important for people to feel satisfied, for people to feel a sipuk, to have a sense that they feel accomplished, they feel they did something. And and this is what makes people thrive, and this is what makes a team work together. So I learned in business that if you don't go out and conquer, it conquers you. In our shlichus, we're very aggressive in terms of growing, in terms of expanding programs, whether it's quantity, quality, in terms of not coasting, of always trying to look for opportunity. I'll give you an example. One day in Quebec, where we live, they came out and they said that if you're a lawyer, you have to take continued education. It was new here. So right away, I thought this is a great opportunity to connect with lawyers and give them Torah and give them through their profession. And I pulled it off, and I got the bar to agree. And for years, I was running programs and teaching Torah. And we used some of the JLI, but we made many of our own the things that we're teaching Torah. We're making symposiums. And all of a sudden, a whole group of people came into the orbit of Chabad, and through them many personal pshanim. And then I said, I got to do it even more. Imagine if I can take these people for a week and spend time with them and give them the hours they need. Then I created, I think it's the
For
only one
their
of its
for
kind
their for
for
their
their
like
continued
profession,
education,
right?
their profession. And I created, and I think it's the only one that exists even till today, a mission to Israel, which I call the Israel Legal Mission. And I have lawyers. I do it every 2 years, and I've had sometimes up to 50 lawyers. I'm doing my 7th one now, where I have them for a week. And obviously, we do things, and not everything is Torah, but these people live a life of Yiddishkeit for a week, and it's a whole. And many people have totally connected to Yiddishkeit because of it. And now I'm doing it for the medical profession here. So these are like looking for opportunities of how to use something to be able to somehow get Yiddishkeit in. So this is something we're very driven to do, and always find an opening to be able to find a way to connect to Yidden and bring them closer. So this is something that we try to do, and some things succeed, some things don't succeed. Chazara, Tamula, Shena, Chazara, Shreikim, everything succeeds in some way. Sometimes we see it, sometimes we don't see it. But this is very much of a way that we try to operate here.
Wow, beautiful. You reminded me actually of art I heard from your brother, Uncle Benny. He said the other Rebbe used to quote the Gemara, "Mishra yesh le'maretz Masayim," right? Which is really a business, you know, attribute, right? You make 100, you want to double it, right? And it's almost like a negative thing, pursuit of Gashmias, and Rebbe took that mindset and used, put it into Kedusha, Mishra always wanting more. So, I love what you're sharing about like taking that growth mindset and bringing it into Kedusha. Something you said I wanted to ask you about. Something you said about like some things work, some things don't work. Like, do you find that being willing to try things even if they don't work is that something that you find useful? Being willing to try new things and knowing that some will work, some.
This is also came from my years in business, was exactly that. The only failure is not trying. Not everything works. Not everything is the right time. We've done things that maybe it wasn't the right time. So we tried something, it wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right group of people. But we're not scared. I'm not scared to try something, and if it fails, I'm not going to put in a lot of money into something until I know that it can work. But we're ready to try, and if it works, great. And if it doesn't work, then we'll try something else. At the end of the day, the mission is clear. The tachlis is clear. What we want to accomplish, and how we get there is things that we have to try. How we open ourselves up to do something. I can give you an idea. This is something that's worked, but it didn't work at the beginning. So what bothered me, and I'm sure bothers a lot of shluchim, is the Kanzer Shoshani Yom Kippur. The shows are full, or many people that are coming to shul, and a whole year you don't see them. And even when they come to shul, they feel like guests. They don't feel comfortable. They don't feel at home. And by the way, how do we change that? No matter how good you make an Oshani and Kippur service, for the average person who comes and just shows up, is not even necessarily open to be changed. It's very hard. So I had this rayon that I want to do once a month. I want to try to do Shabbos somehow to get the non-regulars, the people go 3 times a year to come Shabbos, once a month. I call it family Shabbos, family Shabbat. And I tried it. It was about two years ago or so. I tried to do it. And it took me a while to get even my own team excited about it. Nah, they're not going to come. So no, we're going to call people. We're going to invite them. We're going to come. And the first year it was very lame. A few people came. It wasn't really, but I saw that it worked a little bit. So I said, last year I said, we're going out. We're going all out. We're going to make an incredible kiddush. We're going to do other little things that are going to go on. The kids program is going to be at a different level. And, Baruch Hashem, it's been an incredible success. And once a month, so that's not always the same people, but already 70% are the same people coming back every month who wouldn't go to shul at all, and who all of a sudden feel at home in shul. They feel comfortable. They feel at home. They feel comfortable.
Wow.
They come here. It's their place. They're not a guest. And if they come late to davening, it doesn't make a difference to me. As long as they come and they come for Shabbos. And at times we almost double our regular Shabbos attendance. It's incredible. So sometimes it doesn't take off right away, but at something just don't take off. You tried a certain type of class or program, it didn't take off. Okay, so we move on to the next. This is
Wow.
the way it is.
Yeah, I love that idea. But you're saying it's not for the people that don't come ever. Like you make a special, unique
So we
Shabbos
have
program.
we have to call a lot of them now. Already some are bringing their friends. It takes a lot of effort and work, but to me this is so valuable. If a person comes and once a month they state their Shabbos and they see the inside of a shul, and they enjoy being there, and the kids and the teens and all of a sudden you're planting the seeds of the Yiddishkeit being much more serious, and them taking
Wow.
themselves more seriously. So halavai, now I want them to come more often, but it's fine. It's already something that's we see a real impact.
Wow. I think what's brilliant about it, if I say so, is you're saying the reason why they wouldn't come because they're not a shul goer, let's say, right? I'm a Yom Kippur Jew, right? I come once a year. And you're saying, no, that's the reason you should come. This event is for you, turning the obstacle into the path.
And that's what we call like family Shabbat, because we always talk here that the Chabad is a family. But here, people come, they feel at home, they feel warm. So you come here and you're meeting with your bigger family, and very many friendships between people and their families are growing out of this. So it's almost now selfish. They want to be here with friends. And it's happening in shul, in Chabad house. They're happening in shul, and they're eating a Shabbos lunch. These are people Shabbos also never played a role in their life. So all of a sudden, there's so many things going on. So it's a step.
Wow, beautiful. Let me ask you a different question. In regards to building financial support, what would you say you learned over the years?
So
What's the secret to building support from your community?
I'm the worst guy to ask, because I'm not a fundraiser. I still hate fundraising. I generally do not fundraise. I always do my ask generally one time a year. Years ago, I used to run raffles where we also had some community members selling tickets with us as well. Last 4 years, we just finished our matching campaign. I do a matching campaign. It's the only time I ask people for money. Otherwise, our relationship is not about asking people for money. Still not the one who's like excited before I go to someone. But I do it because it has to be done. I know I have an achrayus, and and I try to do what I have to do, and I know what I have to go for. And believe me, I have a lot to learn about fundraising. But one thing that I will say, not being a fundraiser means that I don't go to people that are just philanthropists. I don't go to people. Montreal, Barsham is a city with a lot of very charitable people. I don't go to anybody who's a philanthropist. Everybody who I go to, who I ask serious money from, I'm talking about even in the $1,000 or more, but even very serious money, are all people that are connected to us in some way as as a shliach. Whether I learn with them, whether as a family, they come to programs, they come to daven with us, they come to Shana Kippur. Everyone is someone who I'm connected to. Baruch Hashem, I feel that they are doing this because they feel that they get something from me and they want to be part of it. We just ran a matching campaign, and we had over 1,100 people donated in our matching campaign. That's
Wow.
besides the matching money, which I don't include. And to me, that is to me the nachas, and that is the testimony of what we are. And I tell my team, and I tell that 1,100 people wanted to be part of it. And many small donations, because they're touched by everybody's activities and kisharim, and that's what we are. We're a very grassroots type of a place where people feel connected to each other. People feel they want to help. Some of the money comes from people who solicit others, but the rave comes from people who are connected here, and that's the way we work in fundraising as well. So gotta do what you gotta do, and I hope to get better at fundraising and understand. I've already convinced myself and understand that what the Rebbe sort of underlying said, that fundraising is part of the shlichus, because first thing, not only getting a yid involved in giving tzedakah. I'll tell you a story. One of our matchers every year, and one of our big supporters, the place we are now, where Chabad House is now, we did it in 2 phases. The first phase was about 17 years ago. And he was a guy coming to our class, and he never wrote a check more than $1,000. Even though he was doing quite well, never wrote a check more than $1,000. He didn't know how to give tzedakah. But I was doing the Chabad House. I had something that was then available for $50,000. And he saw it.
You
He
were
comes
buying a
over,
place?
whatever. Yeah, we were building a place. Yeah. So I had something that was for $50,000, 17 years ago. So he came over and he said, what is this thing? You're doing $50,000. I want to do something in honor of my father. So we spoke about it, and he was like 10 conversations. I wasn't sure if he's serious or not. Finally said he's going to do it, and he did it, and he gave the money. Comes to me a few months later, and he says, "You won't believe it. When I gave you the 50,000, it's not like I had 50,000 sitting around, but I decided somehow, coming to the classes and everything, that when I was young, I had a little opportunity to give tzedakah, and I didn't, and I lost money. I said, I want to give tzedakah now. I'm not going to let another opportunity pass. I didn't have the money, but I put it together, and now, out of the blue, in my business, I got something that was exactly 10 times the amount that I pledged, 500,000.
Wow.
So he really, and today, besides being a supporter of our Chabad House, he supports many institutions here, Chabad mostly, in terms of millions of dollars. He's given out millions and millions of dollars. And
Wow.
Pashut, when he came first, he didn't. So this is grassroots. This is how everyone who we have are people who are connected here and touched here, and many have only started to give through us. There were not people who were giving necessarily. So, and others are, people who give everywhere, but they're connected here in
Right.
their very personal relationship.
Wow. I think that's even more powerful when you're taking people that don't know themselves as givers and helping them become that,
Yeah,
become philanthropists, become Baalei Tzedakah.
with a few people I take, the Rebbe's approach, where the Rebbe would tell people, and it was videos always around Rosh Hashanah really circulating, with the Rebbe would say, you have to challenge the Eibishter. You give stucke before you make it, to tell the Eibishter. And I see people who respond to that. And I don't do it with everybody, because not everyone's a keli, I think. But when people respond to that, it's unbelievable. They see how their business really benefits and it grows, and they want to continue doing that. So it's nice to see how homegrown philanthropy, people who want to give and participate, pushing the Rebbe's way.
Wow. Let me ask you something, because you're talking about like the support coming from people that have a cash there and are coming and involved. Like on the other side, flip side of that, like, have you found that there are people that have been involved, but you had to bring up meaning they didn't understand for themselves that that they need to give, or that Chabad needs money to run? Do you need to have that conversation with people? Chabad needs money to continue to grow.
I'll tell you the truth. I don't even know if there's more than one or two that ever came to me and said, "Rabbi, what do you need? I'll give you." With everyone, there's a conversation. And unfortunately, there are people who have the ability to give. They benefit tremendously from them and their family from being part of Chabad, and they don't give. They just don't know how to give, and they haven't yet opened up. But even the people who give, I maybe one or two people have come to me and said, "Rabbi, what do you need?" People seriously. Not someone just comes with a little check and gives something. People who were very few. And it's a conversation, but some people it's a conversation to know what you need, what are your needs, etc. Some people it's a conversation where you have to draw out from them and tell them a little bit more and get them excited and get them more interested. I almost never find that it goes without a conversation. At least in me, I know other people have. I always say miracles happen around everywhere else. I don't see open miracles, but everything's the Rebbe's bracha. I mean, the fact that anything happens here, and it's all the money and everything is the Rebbe's bracha, clearly. Because on my keches, we wouldn't have much. Much here.
Wow. I was thinking, Parsha Vayetze now, in the beginning of the Parsha, talks about how Yaakov passed Har Moriah, right? Then he turned around. He's like, "Oh, I didn't stop by, place where my father's davened." And once he decided to turn around, David literally moved Har Moriah so he could come. Why didn't David do it? Stop him the first time? Rash says he didn't think to stop. David said, "Why should I stop him?" Right? So I was thinking, like, as long as Yaakov didn't do anything, nothing moved. But the second he turned around, David literally, moved mountains, to make him be able to, in concept of what you're saying, you need to have conversations with people. When you put in that effort, David moves mountains.
I want to tell you, we do matching campaigns. So I have always a short period of time that I have to come up with a certain amount of money because I know what I have to raise. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy, and figuring out how you're going to get there. And when I do a match campaign, the matching is real. It's not just a number I take out. But the Rebbe always comes through. So it always happens. I say, I say, let me try to go to this person. I don't know. What's the chance? And it happens. Not necessarily to the people I always think, but it happens that the result will come. So we have to do our little part, and the Rebbe does the heavy lifting.
Wow. Let me ask you a question about what you mentioned it before. Sometimes when you ask somebody, it's not so passionate, right? Like sometimes you have to help someone through that decision, right? Like how do you help someone when they're feeling resistant to giving or giving in a serious way?
How do I help someone? Every person is different. A lot of times people ask me, "So Rabbi, how much should I give?" I'm personally not a person who comes with a number exactly. I know what I need to get, I don't like to put a number. First of all, I don't like to put pressure on a person. This is the exact number. I try to give them the picture or what I'm looking for. And second of all, they always think if I do that number, maybe they want to give more. Why am I going to hold them back? So I try to get the person to ultimately step up on his own to say, this is what I want to do. This is what I can do. This is what I feel like I can do. I want to do today. That's what I try to get people. To me, tzedakah is part of the bigger relationship that I have with these people. And I don't want them to ever think that I'm looking at them as a number. I'm looking at them as a partner who will help me, hopefully, at the level that they can, at the level that they're capable of. And some people we have that are really helping us in a very serious level. We are a serious part of their general giving. Then I have people that I'm a very small part of their giving. They have a lot more capability. And I have to be patient till they come around to realize, and through our conversations, that we should be a bigger part of their giving. So that's how we try to do it. And sometimes successful, sometimes not. And every time it
Right.
it works out. It works out differently, but on a general basis, it's all in the positive direction. So
Beautiful. Does it take some, extra courage or kechis or kishkis to like push yourself to have a conversation sometimes, or is it all smooth sailing?
listen, it's not a conversation that I look forward to and I'm excited. Wake up in the morning, I'm going fundraising today. I love talking to people. I love seeing them. I love sharing with them some things Chabad is doing. Pull us more, not I don't go with budgets and everything. More, to feel what our reach is and what we're doing.
Impact.
But definitely, I love much more giving shiur, learning with people, and putting on tefillin or helping someone in their personal life with something that they need. But we over time we get used to, and we do what we have to do, and we try to follow some kind of a system that works. And definitely over time, even if it's not the most exciting, over time it becomes something that you're doing more easily and more with less of that effort.
Naturally. Right.
Yeah, more naturally.
Nice. Let me ask you, after, 20 years running your Moishe, is there anything that you would, from all that you learned, anything that you would tell yourself back when you started out?
Um,
Like if you knew then what you knew now.
I don't think I would do many things differently. I don't think I would do. I would really do many things differently. I would say that one thing I realized over the years, something we always did, but the more I realize that the Rebbe always pushed about. It's about every year. It's not just in a far out place. You're going on a shlichus because only a few yidden and we're worrying about them. But actually, when you're in a big city, like we're in Montreal, we're a big city. Baruch Hashem, they're all busy and everyone gets along, and there's plenty of work here for everybody. But when we are in a big city, we also have to remember that it's really about every individual yid, and these masters to help each individual where they are. It's not just about how many people, which is something that's important and something that is a very much a part of everything we're doing. We want to reach as many people, but at the same time, it's always about that being there personally for the people, being there to help guide them, to give them what they need, to give them to concern yourself with them. That's really what it's about. It's about echad echad. It's not only Mashiach will come in that moment. It's right now. Echad echad. That's the really the key of everything that we're building. Sometimes there's some people that It works very well when they get open. Not always they're open to receive properly. But the minute that door opens and you're ready doing it, it's life-changing for them. And that's really the the thing that's that's very much. So in our place, we have a lot of we have a lot of one-on-one shiurim going on all the time. Even though we have public shiurim, we have a lot of one-on-ones. When we talk, we get the people in their world, because a shiur is not just learning. Through a shiur, there's a lot of other things that are being talked about. So yeah.
What would you say, the message to maybe a shliach that's earlier on in his journey? What, piece of advice or perspective or, um, thought that you could share that might help him in this hatzlacha under shlichus?
Shiurei Torah, learn with people, learn with people, learn with people, learn with people, and don't wait for people to come to you. Get up every morning and get out there. Meet people, talk to people, go to places where people are coming together, events. If you're in a city, there are events, other things. Get out there all the time. It's just about rubbing shoulders, meeting people from one meeting to another meeting. Those are the two, I think, things
Wow.
that for me was something important. And even today, it's just about getting out there. It's and not getting out there to raise money. We're getting out there to be there in front of people. We had times we used to do it. I do less of it. We used to do, when we started, we used to do shiurim with the whole family together. We take a family and go to the house and with
Wow.
the parents, the kids, just be there. Go out and be there. Just there's nothing
Wow.
to replace that. And it's a quiet day. So go on and see a few people. Say hi, talk to them. And for me, that's I think a very key thing. And try to learn with people. When you capture their mind, they're in your camp. And I see it. It's very fascinating that when people start learning Torah, their whole worldview starts changing, and they start looking at the things very differently. They start looking at it in a more Torah-dic way. Even little things that's politics, Israel, and other things, all of a sudden starts changing. So it's a real thing.
Wow. Beautiful. Any closing remarks that you want to share with us?
So yeah, listen. It's so hard to think of any particular thing. We covered so much, but I definitely want to encourage whoever goes out there that what the Rebbe said, we're not alone. Sometimes we feel we're alone. We're not alone. The Rebbe is always with us, and the more we stay on track to do what we have to do, the answers will come. The Yeshuas will come. And just continue being positive, happy, smiling, and doing. And really, this is we're soldiers. We're the Rebbe's soldiers, and we just gotta just go and do. And obviously, as shluchim, we have to take care of our families. We have to make sure that they always feel as number one. And just be there and always be positive. When you're positive, it changes people around you as well. People like to be around people that are positive. If you're positive, people are attracted to that as well.
Wow. I heard someone share that with me once. I think you're saying Rabbi Cantor was once from Thailand. The thing that attracts people to shluchim most, or the Vajra Chassid is simcha. That's our motto. More than the external, whatever this external program is how a shliach shows up. The simcha, is really powerful.
100%. That positivity is in the sense simcha. Positivity and simcha is really one thing, and that it's 100%. That's infectious. It's infectious. And many people over the years have come to me and they told me how they come in here just for a smile, just for a hug, and that alone did more for them than anything. It's just
Wow.
place that people feel warmth, they feel positivity. They come in here, they feel safe. And today's world, that's what people want to feel. They want to feel safe. We live in a world where mental health issues are very big, and people want to feel safe. They want to feel in a place where they feel,
Connection.
they're safe here, they're connected, they're part of something, and they're accepted, in something. We all know everyone says Chabad's non-judgmental, but they want to feel even more today safe. They want to feel that someone cares about them.
Beautiful. Well, Moishe, thank you so much. Truly an inspiration. You and Dini are doing amazing work and have built a really amazing Chabad and doing amazing work. So thank you so much. They should bench you, your family, with all the brachas, and keep up the amazing work. Thank you.
Amen, amen, and shukar to you for doing this and helping shluchim, dedicating life to helping shluchim help themselves. And there's no question, there's a harchavas hadas when you have a clarity of you knowing when that there's money, or there's a way of putting money together for what you need, and we have to think big. If you don't dream big, you can never, and you don't think big, you can never get people to buy into big. So we have to think big. Mm, One of the things I'm proud of, and they should help for years, and no one who works here at Chabad, I never was late. I'm giving everyone payroll. Everybody gets paid on time, and to me, it's so important because that's there has to be someone has to know that they can concentrate on life and not have to worry about so they should help that I should be able to continue, and then everybody should be able to have that achavas hadas. When you have achavas hadas, there's so much more you're able to do, and to dream and to develop to
Mm.
help the Rebbe's
Wow.
shlichus quicker.
Wow. You're mentioning it now, but maybe it's related to what we talked about before about like having a good relationship. You bring it up, having a good relationship with your employees. Maybe it's related. Like you're having a chavas hadas, and that break height gives there's room for everybody. When you have a bigger hasaga, there's place for everybody to flourish. There's funds for everybody to flourish. You're not living in a mitzvah place.
And that's what we strive for. That's what we strive for, to let that happen. They should help. The Rebbe, obviously, brachas should help that we should be able to continue and even stronger and stronger.
Amen. Amen. Beautiful. Thank you,
Beautiful.
Moishe.
All the best.